How have inherited customs shaped your sense of responsibility? How have inherited customs shaped your sense of responsibility? How do societal norms impact your perception of duty and success? How do societal norms impact your sense of your perception of duty and success? What traditions provide you with a sense of support and stability? What traditions provide you with a sense of support and stability? What personal rituals can you create to honor your need for connection and grounding? What personal rituals can you create to honor your need for connection and grounding? Now, when you're ready, just take a moment to settle into your seat. You might bring your attention to the surface that you are sitting on, noticing how it supports you, noticing if it's a firm surface or if it's soft. Seeing if you can just give up some of more of your weight into that surface, trusting that it can take over. You might further connect to the ground beneath you by noticing other points of contact, noticing the way your arms touch your sides. Maybe other parts of your leg are touching the surface that you're sitting on. Maybe your feet are touching the floor. Maybe you can feel your hair or your clothing touching your skin. Perhaps noticing the way the air around you touches your skin. And perhaps simply noticing the space that you create, the shape that you create in space that you're taking up right now. And then do a light body scan, just searching for any movement. When you become very still, we begin to notice every part of the body that the breath brings movement to. Maybe you notice your breath moving your belly, that expands and contracts. Maybe you can feel that movement in the front and the back and the sides of your ribs. Maybe you can feel some movement in your shoulders and your chest. Just notice if you begin to feel that movement, that aliveness from the air entering you. See if you can sense it anywhere else that doesn't seem like it should be moving, but maybe you feel some vibration there. Maybe you feel the life from that air moving all throughout you. And if you sense any tension or pain, feel free to welcome your breath right to that spot and see if you can bring some movements and release to that area. And when you feel ready, you can bring an image of the Ten of Wands just to your mind. Just noticing just the thought, the Ten of Wands. What first comes to mind? Is it simply 10 wands? Maybe you have a strong memory of that card and you also picture a person taking a specific action. Maybe specific colors come to mind. And you can continue this meditation simply working with that image from your mind's eye, or you can lightly bring your gaze to the card in front of you if you prefer to work that way. just notice how this image makes you feel. Notice what it reminds you of. No feeling or memory comes to mind. Perhaps just imagine what it might feel like to be there. It might feel like to be this person or to be with this person. Or what it might feel like just to simply be confronted with 10 wands presented to you with no explanation. Wands relate to the element of fire. Fire can relate to a sense of passion, energy, creativity, and inspiration. It can also relate to warmth. A lot of warmth can become hot and relate also to action and transformation. And the 10s relate to completion, but also to a new cycle. So the 10s are coming to an end, but also represent that moment of transitioning into the next thing. We haven't yet transitioned. It's that peak moment before the ending, before the next beginning. It can also relate to community, to the collective. So we've been exploring the 10 of Wands this month through the lens of tradition. And so tonight we are working with the 10 of Wands as the tradition of fire. And the intention of tonight's meditation is to transform any sense of overwhelm or exhaustion into opportunities for renewal and growth. So take just a moment to set your own intention for this meditation tonight, for whatever might arise just for you. Now, I want to welcome you if you are right now simply wanting to simply continue sitting with that image. You are welcome to ignore any other suggestion I make for the rest of this meditation and just simply take this time to sit with your own reflections of this image. Otherwise, see if you can imagine yourself standing and holding some type of bundle in your arms. Perhaps you have a strong memory of when you were actually doing this recently or sometime in the past. Feel free to simply bring that memory to mind. If not, maybe you can imagine a scenario in which you might be carrying a lot of things. just take a few moments to feel in your body what that would feel like. Maybe first imagining what that bundle would feel like against your arms, depending on what you were carrying. You might feel some roughness, or it may feel smooth or uneven. Notice the weight of what you're carrying. You may have chosen to carry something pretty lightweight but very bulky, or you might be carrying something that's pretty hard to keep holding up. Notice what it would take in your body, just as you imagine this, to hold up this bundle. Might you need to straighten your legs or maybe bend your knees a little bit. Might you need to tighten your arms or your shoulders. As you imagine this, imagine it with your body. Notice where you might become tense, where you might start to feel pain. Notice if what comes to mind is corresponding with any kind of chronic pain you do hold in your body. Now shift your focus just to one part of this bundle, perhaps a stick or some other type of piece of this bundle. Imagining pulling this out separate from the rest. And just taking a moment to feel its texture and size. And imagine whatever this is that's been a part of your bundle. Imagine it tells you its story. Maybe not with words that you can hear, but through memory or through your senses. Perhaps there's simply an emotion that arises when you realize what you've pulled out and what you're looking at. Notice if it has any specific scent or sound or even taste. And when you feel like you've gotten what you need from that piece, take out another piece of your bundle. And let that communicate to you its purpose and significance in your life. And just take the next minute to sort through the rest of what you're carrying in there. Maybe these items tell their stories very quickly. Perhaps one or two are mystery to you. There's no need to unpack every detail. Just notice what's there and what are your initial impressions. And as you're doing this, notice your body's response to these items as you ask, do I need this? Or perhaps even, do I need to be carrying this? Perhaps you find something that you do need to have, but perhaps it doesn't need to be held up by you right now. And if it feels good to you, imagine a small fire nearby, perhaps on the ground in front or beside you. Choose one or two things that you don't need. You might be able to give up to this fire tonight. If everything you found is absolutely crucial, perhaps there's just one that feels more symbolic, that you know you can take care of without carrying around that symbol, around that weight. And as you place in the fire, notice, let yourself hear the crackling. Of the sticks and smell of the wood smoke. Allow yourself to sense any transformation that might be happening in the air around you. And see if you can allow that fire to burn down. Running out of its fuel until it's just a small pile of ash in front of you. Notice how that ash will rejoin the earth. How the ashes of anything that's been burdening you can be released. to the earth, to become part of what grounds you and part of what eventually nourishes new growth in you. And before we get ready to transition out of this meditation, just take another moment to reflect on how it feels to release this. And when you're ready, you can begin to come back to this moment, coming as slowly as you need to. Perhaps simply finding some little movements in your fingers and toes. Perhaps welcoming a deep breath to bring your awareness back to this body, back to this moment. Taking a moment to engage whatever ritual you need to transition before you move on with your day.